Hello, I'm Keisha Croxton, nurturing curiosity through adaptive systems. Throughout this instructional design master's program, I've primarily focused on educating adults or higher education learners. However, as a mother to a 3-year-old, I found that I was using a lot of this learning directly with my own child. This presentation is about how I think the future of learning could be for children. The future of children's education. We've taken a look at a lot of different mediums and tools. The three that stood out the most to me are interactive video or interactive media, adaptive and personalized pathways, and artificial intelligence. As a parent who uses some of this technology and has a child in an educational setting that's starting to use some of this technology, it's giving me ideas of how we could be going forward with this. Learning that listens and responds. So, one of the biggest factors here in terms of interactive media is the proliferation of children's related educational content on YouTube Kids. PBS Kids was great, right? PBS is awesome, free, accessible. However, YouTube Kids takes it to a whole nother scale. And the connection that I'm making here is that it is a form of interactivity that's personalized. And then it builds a foundation for deeper experiences and deeper understanding. Accessible content is extremely in demand these days. For instance, Gracie's Corner was started by a father who was in the music industry and his daughter who just liked to sing. And they ended up making a channel that resonates culturally with Black and Brown Americans. Let the child lead. For me personally, as a parent, my perspective is to kind of facilitate autonomy so that my child can have independent thought. A lot of signals I'm seeing that kind of relate to that are there's an increasing attention to people with neurodivergence and then understanding that they might have different needs or different responses to circumstances. Educators are constantly tweaking and doing things on a one-to-one basis with these students, which is promising, but I think there could be room for more. And then there's digital platforms that are mimicking the choice for learners so that they can practice this type of autonomy. And another version of that is in the tactile world is Montessori. So the connection I'm trying to make is that adaptive or personalized technology is going to help provide that type of difference, and it will allow people to connect a little bit more with themselves personally, to feel more empowered as an individual, and it'll help facilitate non-linear learning. Intelligent systems for young learners. For me personally, I'm a systems thinker. Some of the signals I see is that there's a lot of artificial intelligence in a lot of things that we use, whether it's a voice assistant, a personal assistant, and there's a lot of speech to text or dictation elements that we're seeing. And then we're starting to see a shift away from having direct access to an instructor. We're also getting a little bit more of behind the scenes things. Like if you think about Duolingo or any other platform like that, the connections that I'm making is these platforms can offer multilingual and multimodal education. There is an increasing personalization. And part of the reason why I added Wonderbly is because when I found out about this company about 10 years ago, it blew my mind. Wonderbly is a company where you can customize a book. And now these days that might seem a little bit more regular, but especially back in the day, I have a brother who is autistic and nonverbal, and he likes to read books. And so I would make custom books that had his name in them. And the thing that really stood out to me is that we're Black Americans, and I could make a book that looked like us and had our names in it. And I would buy books every year. That connection to cultural relevance is another pervasive theme that I'm seeing throughout all of these materials. A nurtured, personalized learning future. In the next 5 to 10 years, I see these programs and these platforms coming together to really start to make more personalized and individuated learning scenarios so that students can challenge themselves while also remaining connected to their peers. Gracie's Corner, Miss Rachel rely on like an AI or machine learning platform that can help serve their content to people who would find it interesting and build community that way. Unlocking joyful learning at scale. If the scenarios and the situations are correct, that they can increase personalization, increase cultural relevance, and be used to have a potentially massive impact on children's overall mental health and well-being. But we also have to keep the technology human-centered. A lot of these tools are being fed through biased information. A lot of groups are being excluded from the data sets here. And also the issues with data privacy when it comes to children, linking practice to purposeful action. I'm using my instructional design knowledge or education to now create inclusive learning experiences for people, collaborate with educators in ed tech, and to advocate for support systems. For me, a support system isn't just the people next door, which is great and awesome, but we want to make sure that the technology that we are actively engaging with are all a part of this ecosystem that is more sustainable and more usable for people. The work ahead. Interactive video, personalized and adaptive pathways, and artificial intelligence can all work together to create scalable, usable systems that help educate children. But the work has to be done by the people of today. It takes people actively using them and making a conscious choice to provide something of value in order for us to shape and shift this into what it needs to be. We can't be idle. I encourage people to think about how else they can improve this digital landscape. It takes everybody to make a conscious choice to make a positive impact. Thank you so much for your time.